Hi everyone, how are we today? Can you believe it's Monday again? It's just gone so fast. I hope everyone's had a great weekend. I certainly have. We've been very busy with visitors and it's been enjoyable. And my husband got to go to the grand final and the team that we were hoping to win won. So my name's Anita Mazzero. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in Horsham in Victoria. If you're watching me live, you'll see the little red light up above saying live. If not, if you're watching the replay, please let me know that you're watching the replay, and also let me know where you're from if you're not local, because I'd love to know where you are. Anyway, what I will do is I will pop the camera down. We've got a few things to talk about because there's a lot happening in October. And so I think we're all going to go. Hello, Cherry. How are you this afternoon? Do you have the kids this week? I can't remember which week you have them and which week you don't. Anyway, if Margot and George are there, hello to them. I will just flip the camera around, won't be a moment. Just get everything into view. And that looks about correct. No worries. So I hope you had a lovely weekend, Cherry, because it was beautiful. It was the best that I've seen the weekend in a long, long time. It was certainly good. Now, from the 1st of October to the 31st of October, you will receive 30% off all kits in our kit collection. Now, our kits are online, but if you wanted to know more, please let me know. I will try between now and next week do a screenshot of all the different kits that are available so that I can have it on a flyer for you to have a look at, and you can and I'll be able to let you know what they were and what they're going to be in the new price. So if you're looking at Christmas gifts, these are great to give to kids or even someone that you might know that likes to craft, because not necessarily because they may not like stamping, but if they're a crafter, they may be quite happy to take a card kit and put some cards together that they can have for the future reference. So it's a great idea. Also, we have got World Card Making Day this Saturday. Oh, you've got Willis there. Oh, yeah, Willis has had a good week. He had something. Was it his footy grand final? I remember seeing something about Willis recently. Yeah, no, the footy was a bit of a fizzle with the way the team played. I expected that game to be so much closer. But it wasn't. And my husband, as I said, was there. He did not enjoy Katy Perry. He said it was lackluster for him. And I've heard a few other people comment about that. But I certainly did not expect Brisbane to just leave Sydney standing. And that's about the only way I could put it. But anyway, it was good. It was good. I had a 50% each way bet on a Horsham boy winning the Brownlow, because we had a Horsham boy playing for Sydney and a Horsham boy playing for Brisbane. But because I knew Jake had been in the last premiership team, I thought it was time that Jared got one this time. So anyway, he got it, and that was great. And it was good for Jared too, because he gave away that 50 at the last minute of the game last year, which resulted in Collingwood winning. So, it was good for him to have some redemption. Now, as I say, this Saturday is World Card Making Day. Now, anyone can register for this. I will pop a link up on my page after today to let you know where to join, where you can register. And this just means that you can watch what's going on. Now, if you don't want to, it'll give you a list of products, but if you don't want to get those products or do those things, you can just watch. So feel free. Otherwise, contact me and I can let you know further on this. It is a great event. It's around the world. Oh, it was a Deadball. That's correct, Jerry. I knew I'd seen him doing... Oh, he's doing your gardening. Oh, good on you. That's what grandsons should be doing for their grandmothers, I think. We've got one grandson who, when I had broken my back and then my husband fell off the ladder and broke his wrist, the two of us were out of action, and he every week came round, mowed the lawn for us, and it was just lovely to have. So, yeah, it's good that he can do that for you. So, World Card Making Day. Now, the other thing that Stamping Up have done is they have now produced a flyer that we've been able to access, which shows all the specialty papers and designer series paper that are in the catalogue. So as you can see, there's a lot. And because the catalogue's a little bit scattered, you may miss some of them. So it's showing you all the different things here. And it also shows all the punches and dies. And I just think this is a great way that you can have a look in your catalogue and see what is available and what is not available. And I know I've got a great big container with all my punches in it. I must go through and see which ones are still available and which ones are not, because I do have a habit of getting the wrong ones out. So this is great. And I will also pop a link on my page to this for you to use. So you can access it, or if you want me to send one through to you, pop me a message below, and I will pop one in the, either email it or mail it, depending what you've got, how you prefer to get it. So it's a great tool. You pop that in with your catalogues, you can get access to it all, and you can see what's available and what's not available. So that's a great handy tool as well. Okay, today, let's have a look at what we've got. I'm going to be using the Regal Flora stamp set, the Simply Said stamp set, I think. I'm not sure about the wording yet, but I've got it here, and the Regal Flora dies. I'm also going to be using this beautiful Seasons of Elegance paper, and just get it out, be easy to show you. Beautifully different types of gold paper. So this has a gold and basic beige with a basic beige background, and this is a different one in the basic beige with a different background, so you can certainly see by the backgrounds that they are completely different. So when I put these two together, they are completely different. It also comes in Pretty Peacock with a nice Pretty Peacock background. It also comes in the Mossy Meadow Old Olive mixture with the same on the back, that Mossy Meadow and Old Olive. And then it's in a real red, I think, or cherry cobbler. Probably a real red cherry cobbler mixture in this one as well. So again, in the Old Olive and Mossy Meadow, it's got two versions of it too, but only one in the blue and one in the red. So this is great. So I'm going to use the basic beige. It's not a colour I use a lot of, but we're going to see what's going to happen. This morning I had no idea what I was going to even do today, so this is going to test me, isn't it? And then I decided to use the, what do they call it? The textured, I saw it on the flyer, so I'll just be a lot quicker to look this way than next thing. It is called the Textured Metallic Specialty Paper, and it only comes in 3 colours. You get 3 sheets. Yeah, 3 sheets in a pack. So you get a tungsten colour or a grey, and I don't know if it shows up on the camera. I'm going to try and see that. You can see that it's just got a very subtle texture to it. Yeah, you can see it. So it's really good in that. So it's in the tungsten or grey. It's in a bright gold. And then it's also in a copper, which is the copper. So they're really bright, apart from the grey, but they're bright colours. And I thought, well, we'll use a little bit of that as well, of the gold or the tungsten. I'm not sure. I've got both cut out just in case. Now, because I didn't want to waste everybody's time, and I could still change my mind at the last minute, so I have stamped and die cut lots of little pieces. And as you can see, I've got on the backs of some, but it doesn't matter, because once they're stuck down, you're not going to see the reverse side. So I've got all these little pieces. So I've stamped some flowers in some berry burst. So I've got some full flowers and some buds in the berry burst. Then I've got some little single stemmed buds in Blackberry Bliss. And then I've got some sprigs done in Wild Wheat. I've got a couple in Lost Lagoon and Shaded Spruce. And then I've got the same in this other flower. I've got Shaded Spruce, that's Pretty Peacock. So I've got a bit of a mixture here. So from this we're going to do, and I'm inspired by an idea that was in the catalogue, and this will be my take on it. So as you can see, I've cut some in the white. There's that beautiful tungsten colour, and there's the white. So in the dies, we've got this fabulous label. As you can see, this big one, and it cuts this fine, very fine piece. Now, normally I would say, if you're going to use it, put it on a piece of adhesive paper. But at the time I cut this, I forgot, and I love adhesive paper. But yes, I would certainly recommend adhesive paper, or find a way, especially if you're only using this part, find a way of putting it into your card so that you can stick it down and have some loose stuff. So, pop them out of the way. So what I'll do is I'm going to take my, I've got a piece of basic beige, and I have cut that at 10.3 by 14.7, and I've cut the DSP at 10.1 by 14.4. So I'm just, it's just the minute border that I've got around. It's just, because this is very, very flimsy, and that is to hold the DSP onto the cardstock and give me a little bit more weight while I'm working on it. So which way? I'll pop that on. So I've just put a very small border around, because I didn't want it to fill up the whole thing, but I just wanted something to break the edging there. And I don't know if you can see that on screen. It's just a millimetre of a border around. So we're just putting that on there. So what my plan is to use the frame. Now, it's either going to be this one, which now that I see it against there, I don't think I'll use that one. So that can say goodbye. But I do think that will work out really well. Or we could change it and turn it sideways. I think I might use it sideways for what I want to do. And I'm going to use this beautiful satin and sheer ribbon in shaded spruce. So I want to pop that down under here. But what I want to do is I want to give it a bit of a ruffled look. So I'm going to get my tear and tape. I've just got a wide one here. That's not going to work, Anita. So I'm going to work out where I want it. What I was originally going to do was do it and then put it down later on, but I will do it first. So I'm going to put this will either be an epic fail or a success story. Keep your fingers crossed that it's a success story, not an epic fail. That would be the last thing I want today. I'm going to take this, lift that off. I'm going to take a piece, pop that on the end there, and then just make, I'll bring that camera down a fraction so you can see a bit more what I'm doing. There we go. So then I'm just going to make small folds, and then I'm going to glue it again, like stick it down to my tear and tape. This is a little bit fiddly, but I want a little ruffled look along the bottom. And because I've got nothing to put it behind, and I'm not worried about the fact that it may just pop up because we're going to be putting the frame over the top. I can use some little glue dots then to sit this on. Just get that through. I thought instead of just laying a straight piece of ribbon, pop something with a little bit of dimension on the page. And look, if you do want to recreate the card, you don't have to do what I've done. I might just pull it. I think I've got some of them a bit too close together and some a bit too far, so I'm going to try and judge them a little bit better this time. So I said, it'll either be an epic fail or a success. That's a bit better. So what this is doing is giving the ribbon a bit of dimension and adding a bit of texture to your card. Okay. So you can see I've got a few bits sticking up. Grab my scissors. And I'm going to get my glue dots, and I'm just going to pop a glue dot in the middle, because when I've done this before, I've always put it behind a piece of cardstock. I'll just get glue dot to hold that in place. And this is a way you can see that you don't need to use your ribbon just for bows or for other things. You have a way of using texture as well. Last one in there. There we go. We've got that ribbon. So that's going to go and have that sitting just like that. And it gives that little bit of texture there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my dimensionals, and especially with our mini dimensionals, we've got plenty of room around the edge. So I'm going to cut a strip. I'm just going to pop that one little strip on the page. On the page. Yeah, right. You knew what I was talking about, didn't you? So I'll cut this. The morning the fellas went to the footy, my husband was up at 3 a.m. Boy, did that make a long day. But that's probably one of the disadvantages when you live so far away from events. You either go the night before or get up early in the morning. Whereas they got up and headed off to Ballarat, parked the car there, because sadly after a certain time at night there's no buses and that coming to Horsham, so makes it a little bit hard. Really everything that we do, as you would know, Cherry, when you want to capture public transport, you've got to think about what you're doing, what time you're going to come home, and what's available on the way back. And sometimes there's nothing. They'll stop at Ballarat, maybe Ararat, but after that, you would be in worse strife than I would be, Cherry, because of where you're situated. Just getting the backs off. And because I've cut this off the edge, I've actually taken off the piece that's normally on the top. So I've got the bottom to deal with here. Okay, them in the bin. And I'm going to take that and I'm just going to sit that at the top of the ribbon. And there's my frame. Now I'm going to go and put the flowers. So I'm just thinking probably put one in there. Might put one in there. And one like so. And then get some greenery. Put a piece in there. This is me thinking out loud. Working at how I'd like this to look. So I'll Slip that in there. I might just take one more piece of this and have that sitting like so. And I'll add a few of those and a piece. Yep, that will come together. I want to leave room to put my sentiment in there. I'm going to put, because this here, I'll just put a glue dot, I think. I've got the ribbon there. I just need another one over here. Grab a glue dot to put down the bottom to hold it in place. Because the ribbon's got a bit of bulk, so we don't need to do that. So I'll pop that there. And there's that in place. This one I'm going to sit here. Glue dot, dimensional on this side. Place. And then another one, I think I'll put just, and again I'll just pop a dimensional under that. Now, I'm not putting too many dimensionals because I want to feed in some of the leaves in the background so that they will, oops, get off there. I think my little weeder is full. I'm just wanting to pop that to create that look. Like everything, when you start poking around and popping things on, it all changes, so you don't end up with the same look. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on this one. I'm just going to pop that in underneath there, and I only popped it at the end because the height here will help hold it up and give it a bit of a, oh, I like that. That's looking really nice. I'll pop a little bit of glue here to go in under there. That on the gold is actually turning, I'm actually really liking this. I had it in my head. I had no idea what I was going to do. You didn't catch, sorry Jerry, you didn't. No, I was just saying how difficult it is for us to catch public transport. It's like the fellas were up so early so they could get to Ballarat to catch the train. It was quicker for them to go by car. They caught the train at Wendouree, and but then they had to make sure they caught the train back at a reasonable time after the game so that they could come home. And driving was a lot quicker than waiting for trains, because they were home about 10:15. So it made a very long day, but they got home about 10:15, where if they'd waited for the trains, and if they took transport from Ararat through to Horsham, they mightn't have been home till 11:30. So they saved themselves a bit of time. I'm liking this. What do you think, Jerry? It's coming together. I wanted to add a little bit of this gold. I've just got to work out where I'd like it to be. So I haven't planned this card. This is just happening as we are creating today. So all I know that I've based the idea off the catalogue. Now I can see that there's some quite lifty uppy bits. How's that for a word? Lifty uppy bits. So I'm going to pop a dimensional down and adhere that down. Otherwise, the recipient, by the time it's gone in an envelope and sent, could be damaged. And a little bit there. I could do with another one as well, just in there to hold that in place. There we go. I'm liking that. Yes, I know I've got a lot. When I was cutting this out, I had a container absolutely chockers of it. This is what I've played around with different colours and so forth. So, yeah, there was a lot in there. All right, I think that's looking good. I must say so myself. Now, I've got a lot of pieces left over, but that's okay. I'm going to use that on my inside. So what I might do is I'm going to pop that on the front of our card, but I'm going to pop it on dimensionals, give it a bit of height, and there's another spot I can put a dimensional. There's a big one there. Your take your pick tool is one of the most useful things you could have. So if you don't have one of them, let me know and I can order one for you, because this is part of the accessory, but the original comes with just an awl, and it comes with a putty end, which you can use for your gems. And then it also has a scoring one as well. So that all comes with it. There we go. I think that's really good. Dimensionals for the back. Now this is quite thick in the middle, and I personally don't put dimensionals where I've already got dimensionals, because if this was just a flat card and I didn't put dimensionals in the middle would eventually begin to bow. But because I've got dimensionals, it really doesn't need it. So I'm just going to certainly put dimensionals around the edge. And I'm just feeling for where I've got the dimensionals. So you can actually see when I press down that there's dimensionals in here. So that will give it enough support and allow it to sit reasonably flat when it goes into the letter, into an envelope and goes through the mail. Because we know what the post office is like. Yes, Cherry, you were with me at Melbourne when we found out the train wasn't running. We would have been stuck in Ararat till about 11 o'clock at night before we would have caught a bus from Ararat to Horsham that time. You're liking it. I'm glad you do. I'm surprising myself today. Okay, now I'm wondering, and if I did put a piece out, and you can help me, should I do the sentiment in there, or maybe a strip sitting across the top in the green, or is it too much green? Or maybe I might try a little piece of Lost Lagoon. Trying to match the colours. It's either the shaded spruce or the Lost Lagoon. I haven't got a scrap of it at the moment. I have to cut. I'm just using a piece. I'm tending to think you think there's too much green. Okay. I think white would be a little bit silly. But then I suppose if I stamp it maybe in the sentiment in the pink, it would then look quite effective. I'll try it. I've got this scrap piece from the label that I can't use. And I will pop. Just want a long, skinny sentiment. We all need birthday cards, so we can never have enough of them. You reckon Lost Lagoon's okay? Cut a skinny piece off so that we can have a look at it. Yeah, I thought the shade of spruce looked a bit heavy in my eyes. So there's the, oops, bring it back down. So there's the Lost Lagoon. I will stamp on the white and cut it out, and then I'll stamp on the Lost Lagoon. But if I do it on Lost Lagoon, I'm going to probably do it, emboss it. So I'll stamp that there and cut that out. So I thought of the main part of this, which was the flowers, but then hadn't thought about the sentiment properly. Okay, put that away, and we will get this, and I think we'll heat emboss in gold. Should look really good on there. My gold here, and my Versamark. Cut these, we can decide which one we like the best. That out of the way. Always make sure that you have completely heat embossed so you don't miss some, because it's easy to think you've got all of it heat embossed and you haven't, and then you rub your hand over it later on and it just goes everywhere. Grab my little handy dandy slicer. Pop that in there. I just want a narrow sentiment. Trim both of them up and we'll see how we go with it. Thanks, Cherry. Thanks for watching. Okay, there it is in the white. I might cut that even further. And there it is in the Lost Lagoon. I think the Lost Lagoon ties it in more with the... So I'm going to cut the words up. Just trim that down a little bit further, close to the lettering. And I'm thinking of popping it maybe on an angle. So this Regal Flora is a very pretty floral one, and I love it. It caught my eye for the papers, and if I remember rightly, I did one last week using the same suite. So I put the happy birthday. Happy. So I'd like to try and keep it in there. Let me have a look and see what I think. I'll bring it down a bit. I think it will fit on an angle there. And I'll put them up using dimensionals on both sides. And I'm going to use my mini dimensionals for this. I'll just put my happy in there. And then put the birthday as well. Now, if you haven't been watching and you aren't aware, I also will upload this to YouTube, so that anyone that wants to watch my live on YouTube, you're most welcome to. There we go. Not finished yet. So I'm going to grab some Winker Stella, and I want to just flick a bit of Wink. I'm going to use... Do you ever have this problem when you're crafting, that you put something down, you know you've used it and you can't find it? I will find it later on when I go and clean up. But my craft room at the moment is a bit of a mess. Okay, so I'm just going to splatter some Winker Stella. Just making sure it's coming out and coming down the barrel. This one's getting low. Just popping some Wink over the top. And I don't know if you can see it on there, but it's got a fine splattering of, I've got it right in the camera, so I've got to get used to where it is, so I'm sorry about this. Used to be able to just pop it into a spot, but then Facebook changed, and when you've got to zoom in, so I can never line it up properly. But I'll get there, I'll learn. So that's it there. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some gems. And these are just beautiful, beautiful gems. And these are called the Regal Foiled Adhesive Back Gems. So I'm going to have a look and decide which colour I want that will suit. I'm thinking I'm going to go with the Blackberry Bliss. I think that one will be the one I'll work with. Blackberry Bliss gem, and I'm going to use that as my centres. Oops. Pop that in there. I'm just going to use the 3. And there's the gems in the centre. So that is our card. Now I'm going to do the inside. I've got a piece of basic beige, and that one's 10.3 by 14.7 that I'm going to put in there. But I would like to add something to it. And I'm just wondering, I think I will. I'm going to take a piece of this paper. I'm just going to take half a centimetre, so it's not going to be very big, piece to lie across the bottom. Have that sit there. Just trying to see what I've got. Probably might use a little half one. And a little half one with some leaves. And then I might get some berry burst in my Stampin' Right marker. And I'm just going to put a couple of little flicks in this corner. Now I'll glue this in place. I will need to trim it. Just pop that in the bottom with just a tiny bit showing underneath. And I knew I'd put too much glue. Yuck. I've got my old Stampin' Emboss Buddy, and it just stops the glue from sticking, and then a little bit later I will get my adhesive remover and remove the excess glue. Take that away, because we can't not do something on the inside of our card, can we? It's just not right. Squeeze that in there, like so. And then I'm going to take this and just squeeze that in there. I might even take, so don't forget when you do your insides that you marry it to what you're doing on the front. I tend to leave my insides open, but with this one I will get, I'm going to do this one as if it's a card for someone that's away, because I like wishing I were there to give you a hug, and that's something it's nice for someone's birthday, I think. So I'll just clear that. And I might stamp that in Berry Burst, I think. There we go. Be nice for someone that's away that you're close to that you can send a birthday card to. So I'll just put a bit of glue on the back of this. Not too close to the edge because our Tombow glue spreads really well and adheres really well. And I'll pop that there. And obviously I've got enough, I don't know if you can tell, but I've got enough Winker Stella that's actually sprinkled onto this. I'll put a little bit more just to be finish it off over the flowers, which is where it didn't go. There we go. So there's this card. So considering I had no idea this morning, this is what I've turned up with. So we've got this beautiful Seasons of Greetings paper, our Regal Flora paper, or stamp set, and then we've got the stamp in there. I've just looked at it now that I've put in it. I'm a little bit crooked. Usually like to stamp before I put everything on. So this is what I did do very quickly this morning. This is one I copied from the catalogue, just added a little bit more to what it had. And then I did one on the side, which is a little different. But they were very quick and easy cards to put together. But I thought I wanted to do something that showed you a little bit more work and a little bit... Whoops, you can't see it on the screen. Sorry, guys. I think I might just move that out a bit, see if I can... go the right way. There we go. That's better. So there's the cards. So this one's a replica of one that's in the catalogue, and I've just added some splatters in there, a bit more Winker Stella, and they had Missing You up here, and I've put Happy Birthday there. So I've changed it around. This is my own. I have done it a bit different. I've inlaid in both of these two. I've inlaid the die cut back into the card and to create that effect. And then this one, I've gone rogue. So thank you for watching, and I hopefully will see you again next week when we're back, and I will be a bit more organised than I am this week. So remember World Card Making Day on Saturday. Don't be frightened to sing out if you want to know further information, and registration is still available, I think, up until Friday night. So you can, because it's a virtual event, it means that you can get it. That means you also will get the replay that you can watch later on as well. So even if you can't watch it on Saturday, you can watch the replay at your leisure. I think you've got a period of time. So that's our card. So I hope you like it, and we will see you next week. Bye for now.